Ever since I can remember, I've wanted to be a racer. I can't explain it any better than that. If you need more of an explanation, then you're not really going to understand a lot of what is about to happen. What might seem odd to you, and sometimes even slightly strange to me, is perfectly ordinary to a racer. There's nothing strange about flying 50-year-old aeroplanes at over 500 miles per hour, 50 feet above the ground. Nobody would blink an eye if you attached metal spikes to a perfectly good Speedway bike and took to racing it on ice. It's absolutely the done thing to drive a lawnmower round and round the Gardens of England from dusk till dawn. And once you've grown out of that, you can graduate to the combine harvester class. And for the avoidance of doubt, and let's be clear about this, you do not need a certificate from a doctor to race snowmobiles.
The ancient Japanese art of paper folding can be used to construct beautiful and elaborate crafts. With the aerodynamic elegance that only a single sheet of paper can bring. But no one would consider racing them.
Gentlemen, you've got a race.
The Reno Air Races in the Nevada Desert, USA, is one of the most terrifying and insane festivals of speed in the world.
Reno's part of that special American thing about having the right to blow yourself and your neighbours away and keep handguns in your house and all the kind of stuff that's frowned upon in England. So it's part of the, I don't know which amendment it is, but it's the right to kill yourself in a spectacular fashion in front of thousands and thousands of people.
Annually, a crowd of over 200,000 people watch aircraft hurtling towards them at 500 miles per hour and laugh in the face of it.
You've got aeroplanes where you clip the wings off and you supercharge them, you get as much power as you can from the engine, and you pull it too hard and the aeroplane flicks. You flick at 300 feet with that sort of speed on, the only place you're going to go is through the floor, really.
There is nothing like this anywhere else in the world. Though others have tried, like the British team the Red Stars, who raced in the early 90s, no one has stayed the distance.
The maximum amount we ever had was 10 in a race, so that was a fair amount of people. Lining up 2 on the grid, so you got 5 ranks, racing in and turning into the first corner, which was always extremely interesting.
Interesting enough for them to stop doing it. Reno, however, has survived for over 3 decades due to its enviable safety record. This is partly due to a strict qualifying process based on lap speed, and to most of the pilots having eyes in the front, back and sides of their heads. Even so, the most astonishing thing is why there aren't more crashes, considering they race wingtip to wingtip no more than 50 feet above the ground.
Any kind of flying can be inherently dangerous. Racing certainly more so because it's in 3D. But it's all based on formation flying really, and anyone behind you avoids you and you avoid anyone in front of you, and generally that works.
In all classes, the rivets are smoothed and the bodywork is polished to reduce friction so that you can get faster and closer to the opposition. In other words, to make a perilous sport just that little bit more breathtaking.
Now, as he made a very steep approach, you can see the smoke trail. Everybody here thought this is going to be okay. Listen to the crowd in the background as he brings it in.
But it wasn't over yet.
What the crowd didn't know was that with the downwind landing, Sherman had to have a lot of speed. He's coming off the end of the runway onto the dirt, and that is a huge cliff, ladies and gentlemen, that if he goes off, he is in some serious trouble. He loops it, and the plane suffers serious damage.
It's extremely dangerous. They've got very souped up aeroplanes, flying around quite low, going very fast. But yeah, it's a spectacle and a half.
For those who make it, the fastest race of them all is the Gold Unlimited. Vintage warplanes travelling at over 500 miles per hour. The dangers of air racing, however, are not restricted to hitting each other or the ground.
The big paddle on the front of these things creates quite a wake behind, and if you get directly line astern of an aeroplane, your aeroplane wants to flick in the direction of the propeller from the aeroplane in front. So it's an awful lot of turbulence. And if you're unlucky enough to hit 3 or 4 of those at the same time, that gives you quite a problem.
Whoa, look at the prop wash. You just saw your best example, and it is a frightening moment.
With no restrictions on the size of propellers, engines or wingspan, the Gold Unlimited is distilled insanity. Why do they race? Because they can.
Would I race aeroplanes again? Depends how much money somebody had to offer, but in all honesty, most probably not.
During the week, Colin here likes to wear a rubber mask with 3-inch nails in it. Say hello, Colin.
Hello. Hello.
But on the weekend, he likes to go wild.
This is a story about men who are into rubber and metal spikes. Welcome to the world of Championship Ice Speedway. Powerful bikes and deadly spikes. The spikes are 28mm long and sharp enough to pierce peaches. Peaches which are still in the tin. The spike's sole purpose in life is to keep your bike stuck to the ice. It's your job to stick to the bike.
To drive on ice is very excited when you come on the ice and you think it's slippery, it's very slippery and you cannot fast drive on it, but with the spikes you have a very good grip on the ice, and it is you can faster drive on ice than on the asphalt.
Ice Speedway is big in the United States, but there the spikes have been stunted into nothing more than harmless knuckle-dusting studs. It's Northern Europe, Holland, Scandinavia and the Baltic that the real Ice Speedway calls home. Crowds of up to 20,000 brave the cold to bear witness to these modern-day gladiators.
It's a beautiful sport. It's a hard sport and fast.
I'm now 12 years driving Ice Speedway. I have only some little problems, one broken arm and little holes in the arm and holes in the leg, but it is not so serious.
Maybe only a few little holes to you, mate, but most of us are quite happy with the ones we have.
The most important is to have the spikes on the right place in the tire. It's on the millimeter, you must have it right.
Ah, precision is a beautiful thing.
And also the spikes must be very sharp.
When you have a crest, then it's very important you have a good protection. And the spikes are very sharp and long, and you must not touch them.
No, you must make sure that the spikes touch the ice.
It was one rider coming inside on me, so his spikes in the front will take my leather. But I have protection under, so nothing happened here. So it was okay. This is for the neck in the front here and here on my arms and legs. So it's a very good protection here, inside of the leather.
It's very important, especially when we are in Russia, when it's very cold and hard ice. We need this plastic protection, otherwise it can destroy the hands.
It's dangerous, but you're going on the street, it's also dangerous.
Yes, but not everyone in the street attacks you with metal spikes at 120 kilometers per hour.
You must have the control over the bike, and you must drive with your head. That's very important. And when you do and you have everything under control, you're a good driver. There is no brakes, and I think it's better without brakes. When you have brakes, you can faster drive into the corner and brake another outside, and that is very dangerous. On my left leg, have special covers here, made from an old tire, and here also. But when we drive in the corner, always left, we put them on the ice, and this is our left wheel. And we can a little bit find the limit.
So that's Ice Speedway. No brakes, 500cc bikes, tyres on your legs, and hopefully not too many extra little holes.
It's a big part in my life. The ice racing, it's a hobby, but it costs much time and much money, and it's a big part of your life.
One man went to mow meadow. 1 man, 2 man, 3 man, 4 man, 5 man. It's cold outside, but in the hearts of some frozen souls, hope springs eternal. A hope that their snowmobile is the fastest thing on 2 tracks.
Lawnmower racing, it keeps you out the pub on a Saturday afternoon or a Sunday afternoon, and the wife tolerates it, basically.
You've got to be a little bit mad to go out there and race one of these for 12 hours with no suspension and end up with like a broken back at the end of it, it seems like.
Grand Prix lawnmowers exist in both the United States and New Zealand, but they're a stroll in the park compared to this.
Of course, people think you're a bit mad for doing it in the first place, but people don't imagine a lawnmower to look like this anyway.
The British Lawnmower Grand Prix has been held annually for the last 25 years. This is cutting-edge stuff. The mower that covers the most grass over 12 hours through the night. Cleans up.
This is a Group 3 machine, which is a tractor, a lawn tractor. The Group 2 is like your basic garden mower. And then the Group 1 is for the strange people who want to run behind them.
We keep it very simple. We say we don't want you spending too much money on it, so you must leave the engine absolutely standard. And you can't modify the machine much. You can alter the gearing, and that's what gives it its speed.
Whenever you want to change your gearing, like if you want to go a bit faster down the straight, put a slightly larger one on. If you want more, like to get more grunt out of the corners, you put a smaller one on. And I won't tell you what we're opting for at the moment. Walls have ears and all that. Secrets.
To drive one of these, it's really a question of being able to drive something to the limit.
I think anyone would love to be a Formula 1 driver in their own right, but I think we all know that that's not going to happen in our case.
I don't know, it's just a buzz to go quick on something that's a lot of people can't handle.
Each racing team has 3 drivers who stagger their driving stints over the 12 hours, stopping every 40 minutes to refuel and throw their clippings over the neighbour's hedge. These drivers have to be in peak condition.
This is purely to keep the beer gut in.
Well, peakish condition. Pit stops are an essential part of the race. Timing and efficient fuel management are paramount. What seems at first to be a quaint and rather eccentric pastime suddenly takes on all the tension and drama of the world's classic races. A bad pit stop can ruin all of the gains made on the track. Every second counts, even over the 12 hours.
A couple of cock-ups that I made. Rolled it once and stalled it twice, but optimistic overtaking manoeuvres, I'm afraid.
You can tell it's a serious sport because the teams have serious names. In this championship, the Headless Chickens are running away with it.
It's very bumpy out there at the moment, and and it's probably going to get worse, so it could be very uncomfortable towards the end of the race. But nothing's gone past us, so I think we're still leading.
But it's not over till it's over, and in the twilight world of motor mowing, things can go wrong. Things that require technical expertise. Or failing that, a slight adjustment with a precision tool. You've got to love the smell of cut grass in the morning. It's the smell of victory. Someday, this race is going to end.
I was just letting him know that we're on the same lap as the other guys. So perhaps he'll put his foot down a bit now.
It's a victory for the headless chickens, mowing their way into the record books for the number of miles covered in a lawn tractor over 12 hours, and proving you can make hay while the sun doesn't shine.
Anybody that thinks racing lawnmowers is mad has obviously never driven a lawnmower, because it's the most fun you can have for the least amount of money.
It's a small corner of the United States where anything with a motor is liable to draw a crowd. And these are crowds which know what they like. They like wrestling. Well, OK, Combine Harvest to Demolition Derby. In Europe, they treat their combines with a little bit more respect. Not much more, but more. The Formula One Grand Prix of Luxembourg takes place in Germany. And so in order to compensate for this deficit, the Luxembourgers have designed their own race. Welcome to harvester racing. This is a harsh world where today's harvester champion is tomorrow's forklift. There's obviously not a lot to do in Luxembourg during the weekend.
The Inuits have 42 words for snow. They only have one for snowmobile. Snowmobile and skidoo. Two words for snowmobile. Snowmobile, skidoo and snowcat. Three words for skidoo. Snowmobile. Snowmobile and skidoo and... Anyway, lots of them.
The winters in North America can be long and cold. Some people sit and grow beards, some put a dog on their head, and some people race snowmobiles. You can drag race snowmobiles at speeds of over 150 miles an hour. You can race them round an oval track at 100 miles an hour. Or you can snowcross. So that's riding bumps, going fast, and going very fast.
Don't think I'd have the guts to go down that line that fast.
Snowmobiles used to be just a means of getting across the ice. Now they're a means of getting across the ice as quickly as possible. Drag snowmobile racing started back in the 1970s, an era of bad hair, bad clothes, and badly built death traps. When people used Chevy engines and marine outboards for power, and only the drag on your flared trousers could slow you down. Eventually, a governing body was set up to regulate what had become an extremely fast and dangerous sport. And they now only race machines powered by snowmobile engines. Yep, that's right. That's a snowmobile engine.
It's the most fun you can have with your pants on.
Well, let's not get too hasty. Like all motorsports, they have their own world championship and their own unique set of fans.
They better go fast, they better jump high, and they better crash into the walls.
What about wearing dogs on their heads?
And we've got a sled already out of the race.
When you pick up a machine like this, it's basically set up for snowcross, and whereas all the other sleds out there are set up for trail riding. It's everything from the suspension to the motors, everything's beefed up just basically to take the pounding, to take the hard, heavy hits. It's physically demanding. You have to train for this. It's not something you can just go out and do. Lots of people see it, they think I've been riding snowmobiles for a long time, but no, you have to be 100% in shape or you'll die after the first lap. It's grueling.
I like the way they fly through the air and the way they come down and land, the way they really take a beating on their bodies and on the snowmobiles.
And I like the way the spectators wear dogs on their heads. But anyway, snowcross is based on motocross, only with more snow, obviously. You've got high bank turns, you've got kidney-crunching rollers, tabletop jumps, a course built for flying through the air and for taking a beating on your body and your snowmobile.
Some of these guys out here, there's incredible competition from all over the world right now, and these guys are extremely crazy. Some of these jumps that they're taking, there's only one way to be able to do it, is you have to be half out there. I mean, you got to be crazy to want to do it, that's for sure.
Obviously, not everyone can just get on a skidoo and race over an assault course. There's always half an eye on safety and 1.5 eyes on the hell of it.
I don't feel it's that dangerous. I think the guys out there doing the oval racing are crazier. They might say the opposite.
This is oval racing. It's kind of like ice speedway, but on snow and without the spikes and rubber. Pushing speeds of over 100 miles an hour. An oval track snowmobile is set up to turn left all of the time, so to go in a straight line, you have to turn right.
It can be really dangerous, you know. You kind of gotta drive for everybody else too, you know, because of, you know, everybody's sled don't handle right and everybody drives a little different, so you gotta kind of figure out everybody's driving style and just, you know, play it cautious and take your time.
This is the Indianapolis 500 at snowmobiles, held in a blizzard in Wisconsin, and the World Championship is up for grabs.
I guess we enjoy it, you know, it's a good feeling for a guy. If you like high speeds and really aggressive stuff, it's the thing to have.
Michael trying to hold on to win the World Championship, and he does. Michael, the World Champion.
It gets my heart bumping. I like the roar of the engines and seeing everybody go fast.
In our next programme, giant people on midget motorbikes, mutant trucks trample on cars, a field full of flying hairdryers, and the world's largest skid fest.